Hello guys, welcome back to another chess video. Today I'm going to discuss a game I played last week on the 16th of March. This is probably the only video this week because of lots of homework, so that's why I didn't do one on Saturday. Okay, game starts quite easy off, e4, e5. I'm playing as white, and in this case I win. You'll see why this is slightly more different to the previous games I've shown. Knight f3, knight c6, quite a simple opening, and bishop to c4, Italian game, very simple. Knight f6, two knights defense for black. White could play the fried liver, that's a possible option, or you can go like Giuoco, piano, or Pianissimo or something. But lots of options there. d3, opening up this bishop and wanting a pin here. Very standard. Bishop c5, yeah. So this is like a different move order to the. Usually, what would be played is this, and then this comes back up, and then this is like the Guccio Pianissimo. But this is just different move order. So castles, very simple. Castling isn't the best option here. You should play h3. You'll see why in a little bit, but basically it's to stop attacks like this, like with the bishop coming and getting the pin and stopping the knight. Because once the knight comes out to here, you get a very similar idea to the fried liver, where instead of the pawn on f6 being attacked, you have the pawn on on f7. You get the pawn on f2 being attacked by the knight and the bishop. Yeah, so castles, very simple. c3. Wanting to expand on the queen side. In this case, I don't think b4 is possible to start with because it just gets taken. I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe there's some variation it is, but this is c3 and d6, opening up the bishop, wanting the pin on the knight. b4, attacking the bishop. Here my opponent plays very not a standard move. But knight takes b4, c takes b4, and bishop takes b4. Now the idea is to trade off a knight for 2 pawns. Basically, is just to open up the queen side, make it more vulnerable. Except it doesn't work in this situation because these pieces aren't developed yet. So this gives chances for these pieces to develop. So now this can go out quite easily. This can go out this way as well. And basically now the queen's a lot more open in terms of where she can move to. Where it can move to, actually. I don't think pieces are gender specific. Maybe they are, I don't know. What should have been played is probably bishop back to b6, a4 attacking the bishop, and either a5 or a6. a6 is the more calm, passive one, and then after a5 attacking the bishop back to a7, and this is winning for white. Just because this bishop now can't go anywhere, all these spaces are blocked by pawns. But then you could have this attack, and actually this attack in this situation works. Knight to g4, because you attack the pawns, you attack this pawn, and now you can trade off this weak bishop. So yeah, in that case it does work. But then it's just a one possible variation that could have happened. But instead takes, in a3. Attacking the bishop on the b4 square. Now, very standard stuff. You can either go to a5 or c5. My opponent chooses c5. The reason why a5 isn't as good, well, they're about the same actually. They're about the same. But it's just a5 slightly more passive in terms of where it can go, because now you only have this diagonal, whereas on c5 you have this long diagonal. So I think I would say c5 is slightly better, but the computer says it's about equal. So in terms of positional. So now black is down 1 pawn. However, now I got h3. Now this blocks any attacks here and here. Basically stops the pin. And stops any fried liver-esque, very simple fried liver attack. And now we have another strange move. Bishop takes h3. G takes h3, and now black is down a whole bishop. And I think the reason why is to open up the king side, because now the king is really weak on this file. So if you can get the queen out to f7, to d7, and then some other moves, then they can quite easily attack the king. So that's why that's probably what my opponent thought. But bishop d7 would have been better. Just instead of taking a pawn and losing a piece, just developing passively. Still losing for black because black's down a pawn, but actually it's +4 for white. Yeah, it's very simple. It's a very standard move. This would probably be, because you don't want to lose a piece like this. Okay, now queen d7. This is what I would do. This is actually, I think this is what the computer recommends as well. The computer does not recommend it. The computer does recommend it. Sorry, the computer does recommend it as it's one of the top moves. Probably not the best move, but it is one of the top engine moves. Basically, the idea is to come across here and take the pawn. Because now the pawn's under attack, and now you can also develop this side as well. So knight to g5. King g2 also works in this case because you're still protecting the pawn, and then after that rook e8, basically just developing rooks, but probably doubling rooks on the e file. That's probably something like that will happen if the game continued like this. However, knight to g5 was played, and what white should do, so what black should do is probably succumb to like the fried liver kind of thing. For instance, if you attack it with the pawn, you can just go back, I guess. But if you go back, you lose the pawn. So now whatever you do, you're going to lose this pawn. Now your king's going to be under attack. And what's interesting is the computer recommends this and basically allowing this trade. Even though it's probably not the best for white, it's still being recommended. Because look at black's position is actually a lot weaker than white's, and white's still up a full bishop. Which makes sense because black traded off two minor pieces for 3 pawns. Yeah, so. However, this was played. Yeah, knight g5. Queen h3. Another possible, instead of that, d5 could also be played, and then you just takes, and then you could attack as well. This is also a possibility. And then you go here. Now you have a nice attack on the queen, and you can also go like this: trade of queens, trade of pieces, and now black. In this case, black it's about the same in terms of positional, but now black's compared to last time up a pawn, but black's still down 2 points of material. So again, really anything here is possible except what was played, which is queen takes. And you can quite easily see why queen takes because you can see by the engine. Yeah, knight takes and h3. It's very simple. My opponent probably missed it. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, my opponent probably thought I would take here. Was it? I don't know. But yeah, just very strange move, I think. And then after this, you have knight g4, and you go, this knight's under attack. Queen takes, doesn't it? Yeah. b5 would have been better, apparently, according to the computer, because then you go bishop back, even though you don't take the computer's word, it doesn't want to take the pawn for some reason. Rook f8, bishop g5, e6, and it says just sacrifice the rook. for the bishop. And you get this nice pawn structure, apparently. I'm not really sure what this does, because this looks quite bad for black. But this is what the computer suggests, so I'm guessing it's probably correct. It's quite weird though, why sacking the rook is correct. But yeah. You just take the knight. Queen takes g4 and g6. Now there's some ideas here. If black were to play aimlessly like a6, bishop h6, there's two variations. If black tries to defend the checkmate on g7, you get just trade off pieces, and now wiped up the exchange for a bishop for a rook. If black tries to attack the bishop, you just have this checkmate, which is quite nice. However, my opponent saw all this and played g6 already, basically wanting to move the rook out now. So bishop h6, and then black plays a6. My opponent says, what my opponent says is they wanted to expand on the queen side because this was being passive, and that there was lots of action over here, so there should be some over here as well. It's very confusing. But yeah, but a6 doesn't work because, yeah, you can quite easily see bishop takes f8. However, rook f8 might work, queen f3, and if you're lucky enough to be as smart as the computer, you can find mate in the 6. After d5, queen f6, bishop f8, wanting to defend the square out from the checkmate, and knight g5, rook e7, bishop takes g5 because now it's no longer protected. I don't think it was protected anyway, but yeah, a6, and now bishop takes the pawn on f7, and if rook takes, queen takes, and then you go to the corner, you get stuck. It's checkmate. So yeah, that's what the computer recommends. It's pretty much losing for black anywhere. Anything what black does, it's pretty much losing. So a6 and bishop takes. Now rook takes f8 and queen d7. Now this is quite a strong move because it attacks the pawn, gives a lot of space for the queen on the black side. Basically just invades the position. Your b5 attacking the bishop. It's an okay move. Again, you're still losing. You can't really do anything. You just have to go back. You can attack. You kind of just delay the inevitable b5 because the bishop goes back to b3. If the bishop were to go to d5, you have. You kind of have this move c6, but then you can just get taken. So it's kind of maybe. But yeah. Now we have b4, just blundering a pawn. Actually, you can just take it. Instead, c6 could also be played, and knight g5 and d5. This again just delays. Yeah, this just delays because you can, if you take back, you just get taken, and it's mate in 10 from here. So b4 loses a pawn, and so because of a takes b4, and bishop takes b4, which is played. h6, the computer suggests wanting to free the king from any potential checkmating threats, but sacrificing another bishop, which is odd because this is now mate in 8. So, yeah. Yeah, but now this is knight g5. Knight g5. Yeah, it's quite a good move, attacking the pawn and so on. King g7, and you have to find the best move here, and it's knight e6 check. And this is a really good move because it forks the king and the rook, and they can't be taken because it's pinned. The pawn's pinned to the king. Very nice fork here. My opponent goes king h6. Yeah, you're just losing the knight, just losing the rook. I'll show you some variations after this. But here's the checkmate that happened in the game. King h5, queen h3 check, and now the king's only got one spot. King g5, knight h7, knight takes h7 check, again one spot for the king, and queen g3 checkmate. Very simple game. Other variations include if the king could go back to g8, you have knight takes, and this is just mate in 5. because if, let's say, the king takes, you just have checkmate on f7. If the king goes to h8 instead, you have queen takes, and there's no defending this, because now the king can't move out the way because of the queen. You can't defend this checkmate. If a random move is played, like c6, wanting to play d5, if queen takes, again it's the same idea. If d5 is played, blocking the bishop, you can just have take it with the queen, and it's the same idea again. However, now the king can come out this way, except there's a nice checkmate with the queen. It's very simple stuff. Yeah, after losing loads of pieces, black just loses. Yeah, it's very easy game, and well played by my opponent. But yeah, just stop lose. I would recommend not blundering pieces. Don't play too fast. Just think about what you're taking, because taking here isn't that good, and taking here also wasn't that good. So yeah, maybe just think about it. Think about what you're taking and if it's worth it, because the pieces have relative value. Bishops 3, knights 5. Knights 3, rooks 5, queens 9, pawns 1. Maybe consider the relative value of pieces if that helps. But yeah, that was in all, it was quite an easy game, quite an easy win for me. But you can still learn quite a lot from it, because you can basically take out some of the attacking ideas in other games. Like, for instance, if you wanted to play the fried liver, then you'd have the same attacking idea here and here. So yeah, that was pretty much the game. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy it. Although it's a lot shorter than the one I usually do, I hope you still enjoyed it. Yeah, it's very enjoyable to just look through some games, even if they're really bad. Yeah, I quite liked it. So thanks for watching. See you guys next week.